Welcome to the Music Life Social Podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Raheem, in the building.
I am Villa, represent MLS and Double S.
All right. So tonight we got a very, very special guest in the house tonight. Welcome him to the Music Life Social Studio. We're about to put him in the hot seat and get all the answers to all the voters' questions out there. Tonight we have, educator Curt Collier. He is running from Atlanta City Council District 11. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Well, first and foremost, man, tell me about yourself. Give a brief introduction.
All right, well, again, my name is Curt Collier, and it's the Atlanta City Council. I'm a husband of 20 years from this December. We have 6 kids together. Ranging from age 18 down to 4. It's a big happy family. Yeah, so I've been educating for 15 years. I'm a public school educator teaching mostly middle school social studies. That's where some of that government comes in. And I was actually got into real estate a few years back. So I got my real estate license as well as my broker's license and practiced real estate full time for a little while before jumping back in the classroom and had a call on my heart to get a little more civically engaged, help out in the neighborhood. I was part of the Cascade Business Association, a local neighborhood. Really helped out with the neighbors we have some senior citizens that helped out with their tax disputes to their property tax disputes to help them stay in place, make things a little more manageable, and got the speed tables put on the roads. That was kind of my foray into politics and learning a little bit more about it and, just helping out the community.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. That's what's good. That's good. So is this question, is this your first time running for city council, or have you had if it's not, have you ever, this is like your aspiration, what prompted you to do this, being that if it's your first time, or if it's not,
Yeah, yes. Well, yes, this is my first time running for any sort of political office. Now, I've thought about it for quite a while, but really what got me into it was really a love for my own, family. We got 6 kids together, and I honestly just want them to be able to stay in this neighborhood. I love it so much, and I want this neighborhood to be its best. I feel like we have a ton of history and rich culture. I just left Cascade Business District at Aretha's, the restaurant Aretha's at the Point. And we just are really involved with our community and the local restaurants, and just the beauty of just the togetherness. I want to preserve that and make it a place that our children desire to live in the same neighborhood, so I can be grandpa and everybody's right around here.
So that district right there, that race, I think it's 8 or 11 different opponents.
It is 11 different candidates running for District 11. Yes.
Okay. Now, answer me this: what separates you from the other candidates?
So I'll be right up front. I think there's a lot of good people running, good qualities, some with some pretty good experience. My big differentiation is I consider myself the infrastructure candidate. I am particularly honed in on making sure that our roads. Well, let me back up. So it's 2 tiers. Infrastructure specifically for Southwest Atlanta, as well as the city as a whole. But when it comes to Southwest Atlanta, I'm looking at it as far as making sure we have everything in place that we can develop, grow, and is preserved. So the city council is a legislative body, and the laws and ordinances that I want to get put in place would allow us to, for instance, affordable housing. It would guide. There goes my son popping right there.
Yeah, I got a little one. I know.
Yeah. I just told him, I was like, "Hey, Daddy's about to do it." But it's a full house. Anyhow, all the bathrooms in the house want to come into Daddy's room.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey Caleb, I don't know if this is good now, but say hey real quick. Hey, now Daddy's on the call, so you got to go back downstairs, okay? All right. For the
That's
impromptu.
what's up.
But bye bye, son. All right, so I lost track there.
Talk
Yes,
about
yes,
the
okay. So
infrastructure.
the infrastructure candidate, I'm particularly concerned about things that we're all concerned about, like our roads, the potholes and all that.
Yeah.
Um, Now, what first got me, well, not first got me, but one of the particular things I went to, spoke to our commissioner and asked about some of the roads. Like when is the maintenance schedule so that our roads don't seem to be in such bad disrepair? Like how often can we expect them to be paid? And the answer I got was there is no maintenance schedule. And for a city of our size, I was like, okay, that's a concern. And
Right.
so how do we get that done? Whatever council person is really fighting, screaming the loudest to get this done or that done, usually gets it. The loudest squeaky wheel gets the oil. And I was like, well, maybe you're not squeaking enough,
Yeah.
So really the things I want to put in place is, an audit to get a maintenance schedule so that all our roads, not only in Southwest Atlanta, which I'm primarily concerned about, but
Mhm.
across Atlanta, there's expectations that can be had and, held accountable. Our infrastructure as far as the sewer systems, the pipes. We have, pipes that should have been the complete
Outdated.
system should have been updated since, Mayor
The Olympics.
Hartsfield was in office,
Yeah.
50 years. And yeah,
Yeah.
these pipes are, over 100 years old and keeps, seeming to get kicked down the curbs. That's where my interest lies. As a city that is growing the way that it is, we're attracting businesses where, FIFA's coming, Super Bowls, we have a lot, we're a sexy city. But
Mhm.
I really feel like we need to take care of what we have right now so that it is preserved. Because otherwise, we're going to get into a situation where we're literally choked on our traffic. MARTA is a big concern of mine, and I have legislation and push I want to get for the expansion of MARTA, not only within city limits, but to Gwinnett, Cobb, and I think
Mhm.
the time is coming. I feel like the with how the city has grown, there's people that move from other parts of the country that are more apt to be favorable to not sitting in traffic for 2 hours to get into Atlanta, but are willing to hop on, mass transit and fund that. But yeah, those are a few things when it comes to infrastructure. But I can get all into it, so I don't want to ramble. I'll let you
Oh
guys.
no, because that's you hit on the Ben, I'm an Atlanta native, so I remember when they got the announcement for the Olympics. So even
Hmm.
then they were trying to get the Olympics in the late 80s. And right when they made the announcement, like I remember like in 91 or 90, they started doing like you're talking about the infrastructure. It's like, okay, we're gonna have close to X amount of million people up in here. So we got to make sure the
Hmm.
roads, everything is suffice. And Ben, that you touched about the market aspect, because I just seen really so crazy recently on the news last week. So they did a thing on the Beltline where they did a study. I don't know if you're familiar with it. They did a study on about far as with transportation on the Beltline and how to like increase it and improve it, like a rail line going vertical and horizontal. And they said they did a study. They did a study on it for it took 2 years, and they said it may cost like 2.5 billion. And then some residents that live on the Beltline say that'd be good. But then the guy, I forgot, he went to Georgia. He said he's a professor at Georgia State, and he's like, that's his expertise on. He's like, it wouldn't make sense to spend all that money on that when you have MARTA right there. You got people. It's more people that live outside the belt line or not even near the belt line. It will benefit them more as far as with the expansion of MARTA, as far as improving the rail system there. Kind of like I'm taking shots at Kasim Reed, but me and Raheem talked about when they got that rail car system. Try to switch. I was like, that was a waste of time and money. I'm not in politics, but I know this
Right.
is not
Hmm.
it
Trying to make it like
because
San Francisco or something. Yeah.
yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
bro,
yeah,
I get what you're trying to revitalize back in the day when Sweet Army had the rail system back then, but
yeah,
we're in a different time now where that it didn't make sense at all. And
yeah. See, well, now, no, it didn't. It wasn't the best. Let's see, implementation that didn't work out. But sometimes it's trial and error.
yeah,
And what I say is that same car system, the light rail. Now, while that doesn't work out great going through the city, is not as feasible. Now, something like like that was going around the Beltline though.
Yeah, that
Just
would
around
make
the
sense.
Beltline, that's more feasible. It moves. You don't have lights and traffic. Nothing to really impede it. It's going exactly where it needed to go. That would be a much smoother situation. I think something like that is needed. And needed soon. When the Beltline getting completed, of course, yeah, you can ride your bike, you can walk, but that is going to be a major thoroughfare. More businesses, more industries going to develop around the Beltline. So people need to be able to travel around that easy loop. And I think that would be a big benefit. And not just going, the perimeter, but also being able to, branch out to other places or catch, a bus line. However it is implemented, we need more public transportation. We needed, MARTA kind of has a bad reputation because sometimes it's not the most enjoyable ride. But when the interest is there, the investment is put there, the services will improve, the ridership will go up, and we'll get a better system. But
Yeah.
if we don't take it seriously, now and begin to take those steps, it won't happen. I mean, when New York built its, transit system, it was huge, oh no. And I'm talking about back in like the 1900s. No,
Yeah.
it's dangerous. You don't want to do this. And, but it was completed on time, quickly, and it became a huge success and a model to the world. Who wanted to ride a train underground? You see, is what it is. This is not technology that we're having to invent. It's already been done. Just,
Add on to it, expand
yeah,
it.
we add on to it. Yeah.
Now, I hear you talking about the Beltline, and if you get elected, not only will you be making decisions not only for your district but the entire city. And one
hmm
of the problematic issues that the city of Atlanta has been facing, that a lot of citizens have been talking about, is affordable housing, and how
hmm
lifelong citizens have been pushed out of the city because they can no longer either live in their homes or new development and things like that. Where do you stand on affordable housing, and do you have any plans to address that issue?
Yes. Well, we need more of a streamlined, transparent system when it comes to that. They always talk about affordable housing and using the AMI, and uh, when it comes down to it, that affordable housing ain't quite affordable. It's not
Yeah.
affordable for the current residents.
Mm-hmm.
We saw in the 04th Ward District, I mean, that area just flips seemingly overnight.
Mm-hmm.
If you're familiar going up and down Boulevard,
Yeah.
all the public housing that used to exist is
Yeah.
like, it was here. It
Right.
looks like a totally different area. I mean, up and down Rankin and Highland, it's
Yeah.
a different place. And me in particular, when it comes to, I see this development happening. So now, I hope people, get on me. I love the city, but I was not born and raised in Atlanta. I came
Mm.
down here when I was 16 years old from Long Island, New York. And so I have some references to, I was on Long Island. I wasn't, in the city. I was in the five boroughs. But I have some reference to seeing things develop. What I see what's happening with Atlanta is in the north, I'm just talking about within the city limits. Within the city limits, northeast is developed. Northwest, which is it's called Bankhead now, is West
Yes. Yeah.
Midtown.
I don't like when I say
Yeah.
that's Bankhead, my wife was like, it's not Westminster, that's Bankhead.
That's
Yeah.
Bankhead. That's Bankhead.
Okay. But it's been
Yeah.
rebranded and it's
Yeah.
changing so quick. And that development is coming around that northwest side to the southwest. It's coming really quick around, southeast Atlanta. And I feel like we're in southwest Atlanta where it's coming and it's coming fast. Like it's hitting the Pittsburgh periphery.
Yeah.
It's coming. I feel like if we don't do something to protect what we have here, we are really the largest open expanse of suburbs within the city limits.
Mm-hmm.
We have this lush tree canopy. When you drive up and down Cascade Road or Camilton Road, you couldn't say that you weren't in the city. In some places, you were in the country.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we have this great ecosystem. I have deer in my backyard, and I'm
Same. Yeah.
15 minutes from the city. That's an experience that I want to see kept. So I'm really big on when I say, the infrastructure and preservation of what we have and building it up. So back to the development. What my goal is to preserve this area, put different ordinances in place, work with the different neighborhoods to have a big push to get a lot of these neighborhoods on the National Registry of Historic Places, so that it kind of restricts what kind of development can take place. What that would do is, again, this is not exactly one for one comparison, apple to apple, but I feel like Southwest would be like the Central Park of Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and what that does is it makes this a valuable place to live, a desirable place to live. But who is concentrated here right now? It's a predominantly, African American community, and we have roots and deep history here.
Yeah.
Now, I'm all for anyone that wants to come, but when you talk about preservation, and this is, a holdout that I feel like we have here in the city, where we have, you know, uh, mayors and ambassadors and Hank Aaron. I mean, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
John Lewis, had a home here. I mean, this is kind of, we talk about Atlanta being a
Roots.
mecca.
Right.
This is where
Outcast.
we live,
Outcast spots.
Yeah.
Goody Mob. All it's like a preservation, because it was so crazy. I guess being that you from New York, how I see online how they say Brooklyn ain't Brooklyn no more. This is where Bed-Stuy, for example. This is where Biggie grew up, and you look, you see a Starbucks, and you see, you don't see. It was like, what,
Yeah,
like what is?
yes, yes,
It's
yes.
like like you want everybody to be welcome, but at the same time, it's still our house. You could come in, set up, but we want to preserve certain things that mean dear to us when it comes to first
Yes, yes, and
culture.
so when I was in and I still am, but when I was heavy in real estate, one of my things is when you're in any kind of business and you're in the branding, your face means something. Like what do you attract? And so when I was go out door knocking, and I kind of still do the same thing, when I'm campaigning, but when I was knocking on doors, just introducing myself to the neighborhood, like, hey, I'm a local realtor, and sometimes like, oh, you're just trying to buy me out, get me out. I'm like, no, 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 no. I want you to know who I am because I'm invested in this neighborhood. Of course, I need to, do transactions to exist in this space. However, primarily when that enters your mind that you're, thinking about selling, maybe selling is not the best option. Like, passing it down, keeping it in the family. That's where generational wealth originally comes from. Is real estate. You know, pass it down. I don't need to sell. There's hundreds of transactions that go down this place. So I don't need to, get them all. But if you stay here and your child stays here, that produces wealth in the neighborhood. And when we go out and we are able to reinvest our dollar into the neighborhood. Like again, I just left Oretha's, and uh, that that little business district that we have on that Cascade and Benjamin Emay's, connection. There are no big chain businesses there. They're all mom and pop shops.
Right.
Cafe, Bartique and Vea Eye Care, get my glasses there. These are black owned businesses, and a lot of the folks that run these businesses live in the neighborhood. There's nothing like being able to, go out and get some ice cream at Ice Cream U, and the man serving the ice cream is you know
Familiar face. He
looks like
knows.
looks like dad, and the kids come see us, and and the doctor who is taking care of their eyes, looks like them. It does something for the psyche, and we got Morehouse and Spelman and Clark, and the AUC centers right up the road. You go Joseph B. Lowry, it's right there. And so all that history, these folks live in the neighborhood. They graduate, they stay in this neighborhood. You know, me and my wife chose this neighborhood because of what is here, and
Mhm.
and you know,
So,
it's when
so,
I first came to Atlanta, it was
let
like
me ask you this.
Cascade Road. I'm
So let me
sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
so let me ask you this,
Hmm.
because one of the things that that voters look at and that we look at some of these neighborhoods in Atlanta, and if you take a snapshot, some of them still kind of look the same from
Hmm.
30, 40 years ago. where there's still poverty, high crime rates, and a lot of the candidates or people who's been voted in, they say all these great things, but then it's still the same thing. It's like rinse and repeat or whatever. Is there anything specifically that you see that you can do differently from those that's already been in office?
The snapshot of things being the same, I want to keep, a couple things perspective. Well, first off, my ideology is different when it comes to crime or anything like that. First off, District 11, most of it is in the Zone 4 precinct, Zone 4, which has the lowest crime rate in the city of Atlanta. Okay. First off, there's a lot of perceptions that take place. Oh, Southwest Atlanta has this crime, that crime. Yeah, we have crime just like everyone else, but you're far less likely to get carjacked or be the victim of some kind of robbery or something in this neighborhood versus anywhere else in the city. So I want to dispel that right away. So now, I just spoke to the commander of Zone 4. Now his name just slipped my mind. But I did an interview with him and Tyrus before he became the new commander, and we spoke about those things. So we don't have that big crime rate. Now, when it comes to my ideology is as far as what we need to do to revitalize neighborhood. First, we're on an upward track, just because of time from what happened during the 80s. We were hit in the 80s with the big the crack epidemic, which as far as Black people, we hold no responsibility for that. We did not bring those into our communities. So it was brought, I feel like that was something from on high brought here. We became the victims, and then we became over criminalized for engaging in some of the only activities that people could to sustain to make it to live when you don't have the opportunities for jobs and education. That's a very real thing that we went through that in our country and many of the urban neighborhoods, and now we're on the back end of it, and so we are actually coming into a better place, but we still suffer from some of those ills. So all that to say, my ideology on that is, when it comes to policing and all that, there needs to be more emphasis not on policing, and we need X amount of cops with this kind of training to monitor the people. We need investment in the homes and the education. And when it comes to police, I'm all for cops. They serve a vital role. If someone breaks into my house or there's some kind of issue, I'm gonna call the cops, right? But it's how we interact. Having cops that walk the beat, that on the bikes, that we us as a community and the police as an institution can work together to form a relationship so that we know each other. Exactly. And there's a better bond, because even as a community, like I know every kid on the block by name, and we know that you can hold them accountable. You see them throw soda on a soda can, and I'm like, hey man, pick that up. Right down the street, that's in front of my house. We don't do that. We gotta be stewards of ourselves. And that's my personal outlook on that. I'm not sure if I really answered the question, but that's my attitude when it comes to legislation. I'm like, let's take care of the people in the best way we can. Affordable housing, working with the police to police a certain kind of way, and that's how I see the neighborhood improving. But also, just the community aspect, supporting our local businesses and supporting each other as a people. Just look out for your neighbors, and that's not something that the government does. That's something that we as a people do. But if people are of that mindset, I guess like I am in government, that's going to be my first, go-to. That's my mindset. That's my ideology.
So it seems that I think as far as me, I probably said the same ideology you had, like far as when it comes to the crime in neighborhoods, and particularly your district, that far as with solving crime or just having the crime rate even lower than what it is now, policing is just one of the solutions. It's not the only option. So it's like, you talk about, hey, if we work on education, job security, just like certain things in that aspect, far as with, hey, if we solve this in this area, we probably won't even have to call the cops, or
Yeah.
vice
So
versa,
so let
whatnot.
me give you an example. Most crimes is committed by the youth
Hmm.
between ages like 14 to I'd say the lower 40s. That's where it's gonna happen. You don't see too many 50-year-old, 60-year-old men
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
out there doing stuff. But
yeah.
but who falls in that age bracket? It's young males. What they got? Lack of opportunity, money, and too much time on their hands. When I was growing up, the first job I had, it was with the cleanup crew. I was, 14 years old, and it was a summer job. Got my little work permit as a 14-year-old, and got up in the morning and went down to the local center. They gave us all our equipment. We got on the little van, and we went to the parks and was raking the trash up. We was cleaning up our community. We were going up and down, regular residential roads, and straightening it up. So what that did for me is I'm far less likely to even think about throwing trash anywhere because I'm cleaning it up. I see what it does. I see how it accumulates.
Yeah.
Programs like that, but that was sponsored by the city, by the government. When talk to police, I played on the PAL, Police Athletic League, football. I was playing that since I was 7 years old. But who was it sponsored by? It was the police. So, I had almost a dual consciousness in my mind because I'm around all these folks. I'm playing football. I see all these, regular people. Sometimes in the community I grew up in, it's like, oh, those are the police. They don't like you. They're gonna harass you and all that stuff. But what that did for me was the stereotypes was like, no, that's the guy who police. He's one of my coaches. He's a ref.
Yeah.
And so I had more of a relationship, and I got to see them for people, and yeah, my community was different in that way.
And I I say I'm a firm believer. I think first, but because I think we were on the same age bracket. Like I remember back in the '80s where cops would police the beat, and I'm not saying if I were able to run, this is an idea that I think some some communities should implement. Was you on the task force? See if you're a rookie, you join the police academy, you're assigned to that district. I think you should live in that community at least for a year, so you can get a feel for it. Live in there for a year, so that way you'll know. Then you can move where that, so that way you still assigned to that beat or whatever, but you'll know that I get the idea, get to know the people. But in a sense where you don't literally have to be walking the street every time, but like you get a feel for that, that community or whatever. And then it'll be, I think it would curve a lot of, not saying hostile and tensions towards cops and first civilians, but I think it would put, it's a start. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's good. You talk about affordable housing. Oh, there's programs. I was able to take advantage of one of those as an educator. I was offered a certain amount of down payment assistance to purchase a home within the city limits so that working in the school system allowed me to purchase a home, but then I'm part of the community, so offer that to police. It helps in getting community that's going to be affordable housing because look at the salary ranges of our public servants.
Yeah.
If you are getting paid, you're just making it and you're traveling, you're one of the ones who has to travel into the city,
Yeah.
to serve the city to get that higher wage. But when you can bring people into the communities that they live in and really have that live, work, play, that does a lot. And so when it comes to affordable housing, it's, hey, city workers, public service, people, they should be, some of the first ones on the list to, be able to get affordable housing in the city. And I think that'll do a lot, for it. But, there's a lot of different ways to look at it. I don't, have all the solutions right here, but, when I walk out and I talk to the community, some of that helps to drive some of my decision making and my outlook because I'm talking to people that live here, people that are renters but want to be homeowners, want to be stakeholders in the community, but they can't. Sometimes it's a little bit of assistance. Even when we talk about homelessness, it's easy to keep someone from being on the streets and to get them off of the streets, because then a lot more comes, with it, just getting people document ready to be able to find a job afterwards if they don't have an address,
I'm glad. Well, real quick, I'm glad you brought that up. I want to touch on that because it seems like homelessness has increased throughout the city with encampments under the bridges and things like that. Do you have any thoughts or any ways where you want to try to implement to try to address that issue?
Hmm. So when it comes to homelessness, that's it's tough. It's tricky. I don't think there's any band-aids to put on it. I think some of our housing initiatives have kind of led to it. The public housing that we used to have in the city is dwindling, is disappearing. So, that's displacement in and of itself. And sometimes, folks get in situations where they're out of options. It would just take an investment because there are, you know, people that do this for a living, they're professionals and they have the strategies. Sometimes it's, again, getting people document ready so that they have the ability to apply for jobs and have a stable situation where they can hold it down. So you're gonna need some place to be housed. So housing can be built, for that, but again, it has to be guided by the right principles where people are placed. Because we just can't say, you know what, all you homeless people are gonna build a little encampment, or not an encampment, but basically another project,
Mhm.
Yeah.
before you live in, because then you're just
Yeah.
concentrating, poverty and the mindset. People need to be dispersed throughout the various communities, and I know that might scare people, especially if you're on the wealthier side. Say, hey, I tried to escape this stuff by
Mhm.
being able to afford this and not, but it's we're all human beings. That interpersonal relationship and dealing with folks is what's necessary. So we have to find housing that is multi income.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's also aspirational to be able to see people that can afford or have different occupations that you might not have seen, you might have not have thought of, but now you do because you see them every day.
Yeah.
Moving down to Atlanta at 16 was a culture shock for me. I never saw, I didn't see black people with Mercedes and BMWs, Lexuses, all that stuff. I'm just being honest. I didn't know them
Yeah.
personally, unless they sold dope.
Right.
I'm just being,
Yeah.
but when I came to Atlanta, I saw, a lot of folks that grew up in this area, or this is what they've grown up in, they don't know, or not I say they don't know, but sometimes they don't appreciate what Atlanta is,
Mhm.
for us. Like, I was like, wow, I really did not see myself going to college seriously. So I came here and was like, oh, this is what people do. This is how people live. I was like, wow, like that could be me as well. And I took it seriously, and I was able to, attain that because of my surroundings. And so Atlanta is a special, special place. And as we grow, as we develop, I don't want to see that change. And I feel like uh, maybe my passion for it and my heart for it is what makes me different or unique, because I see it as something. I see the threats. I see the threats against it, and
Just want to, you more
I
like
just feel
community
like, yeah,
first. Community first. You see, like,
yeah,
because the same way I saw a change in it, like maybe in 03, 04. I saw it coming when I was working in Zone 6. I saw, like, when it started to be quote unquote being gentrified, and they were
hmm
buying up houses, intimate domain. I remember this one lady in particular, I was gonna say her name, but she had a house, and I told her, please don't sell your house because it's gonna be worth something more 10 years or 15 years from now. Sold our house for, like, maybe at the time, like $30,000. And it was
hmm
over in the Edgewood. I don't even think, matter of fact, that house isn't even there no more. And
yeah, probably
crazy.
cleared it out into some, big
Right.
old 3-story home,
Right.
right?
Right.
Yeah, it's like, come on, like, so. Yeah, yeah, we get it. So, I know, as far as what you say, as far as with your background, like your community. I get a sense from, now I'm living your district, but I get a sense from you. If I was a voter, I get a sense, you can correct me if I'm wrong, like your community first and foremost, like preserving
hmm
the community, and you want it to transition into the future, but at the same time preserve the aura of it as well and the history of it. I know education is the key. So, like, you batting 1,000, really. You 3 for 3 because you like community, education,
Right.
and as far as with affordable housing. And I get a sense, I think you're a genuine person. I get a sense you're not blowing smoke up people's born smoker people say, excuse my language, but I think you the real deal. I'll vote for you if I live in your district.
I appreciate
I
it.
don't live in your district, but I'm in South Fulton, but that's the whole district. But like it's like
Well,
sorry, man. Yeah,
hey,
you
yeah.
on,
Well, hey, I appreciate it. I mean, like I say, Atlanta does some amazing, amazing things. Over in Summer Hill in Peoplestown, which again looks totally different from what, I originally, saw. They had a project there, where they had some flooding issues. And climate change, we're getting all these storms, we're getting more rain, and we got old pipes, but they implemented the permeable roads. So it's kind of like, it looks like cobblestone, and basically the
yeah,
premise of it is when it rains, the water doesn't run off down the street like a big old river. The bulk of it seeps into the ground and restores the water table. I previously spoke about our streets in Southwest Atlanta being in some, pretty bad shape. Now we just paved Campbellton,
yeah,
Cascade Road just reopened like a few weeks ago. It was like a 2-year project. That's a crazy long story, but it's open again. But our surface streets, the regular residential streets, permeable roads offer more resilience. They don't have to be repaved at all.
yeah.
The maintenance on it is far less now. You have to start from scratch, pull up the existing asphalt and lay them down. But what that does, it creates a much better infrastructure road system that is better for our environment.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, it's better for the environment. It provides a better road system for us to ride. It looks better. So it's an improvement on our streets and sidewalks, allowing folks to get around. And since we need it so badly here, why not go ahead and implement stuff like that right here in Southwest Atlanta to, improve our lives and just make things better. Because coming down Campbellton, I turned on Sandtown Road, and I swear I've lost 2 tires. Knocked my front end out of alignment. Because it's like these potholes are like craters.
Welcome to the
Yeah,
club.
And I've kind
yeah,
of learned. You learn. Okay, I got to swerve this way a little bit when I come
yeah,
around that corner. That's not something we should have to
yeah.
learn.
Thing that we have.
So, simple stuff needs to be, taken care of. And, again, maybe I'm a little more, I live right on this side of town on, closer to the eastern border of Southwest Atlanta. And so I'm up and down these roads and I see stuff that needs to be done. There's plenty of houses that are blighted that, I'm like, hey, this could
So,
be acquired by the city because it's been, standing so long, and made into affordable housing or to our homeless or even folks that are Section 8 or on the brink, like providing opportunities for them to have a fresh start at ownership. I just see, lots and lots of opportunities, and just just putting a highlight on what's here so that folks, will say, hey, let's move to this side of town. It ain't what I heard it was. This is a good place to live.
so
So,
quick
yeah.
question. I have two more questions for you.
hmm
Do you feel that your district may have been, overlooked or disregarded by any chance from, from city leaders or anything like that, or not really, putting the time and the resources into that district?
You know what? I do. I'm not being serious like, oh man, the folks in power or past, just there's the city. It's not rich, but we have money, we have resources, things get done. And I do feel like when there are areas that people's income aren't as high, it does get overlooked because the voice isn't there. You see what I'm saying? Like when you're voiceless, you're overlooked. I honestly that's just this how I felt. And maybe just because the side of town that we choose to purchase in, it was affordable. We got
Mm-hmm.
in, but I just saw like on the north side, the roads paved. They look good. But we pay taxes here too.
Yeah,
If you're renting the home, the landlord, the owner, he or she is paying taxes.
Mhm.
Taxes are getting paid, and so certain services should be met. And so for roads to be crumbling the way that they have been, and sidewalks not being done, I just feel like
That's the bare minimum.
that shows being overlooked. And yeah, I'd be a representative for the people
Yeah,
in that, you know.
Hey, look,
Yeah.
look, yeah, that's what's up. So, do you want to share like a as far as where they their website or whatnot, where they can tell, as far as what they can look at some information, like
Oh yes,
social
and I
media?
appreciate you asking. So yes, it's Curt Collier ATL.com. CurtCollier.com. That is my website, and of course, there's a donation link. I'm a teacher. I'm not a politician by trade. I've been in very grassroots campaign. I got some volunteers. So raising funds, that's big. That's really for the visibility. And visibility has impressions. You see a name over and over again, and sometimes for the less informed voter who has that sense of, well, shoot, King marched, and Malcolm X and all these folks, John Lewis, they fought for my rights to vote. I'm gonna go and vote, but they may not be always the informed as they need to be on the candidates or whatever name they see is who they go and vote for. Raise money for more signage. We got some out there.
I'm gonna give you
Okay,
one.
go ahead.
I'm gonna give you 1 minute to tell people why they should vote for you. If you can sum it up in 1 minute, like why should people vote for Curt Collier?
Okay, very good. You should vote for me because I am one of the people. I'm your son come home. I'm from the north, but my people are right here from Georgia. Got lots of roots. I'm your son come home. And I've seen things around this country and this world, and that I want to do the best for us. I'm the regular guy. Do got some education, but I'm very much just like you, and I want to take care of home. No aspirations for honestly going to the next point in government, but I want to be right here and take care of us. So hope that wrapped that up in a minute.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, we definitely appreciate your time, man, and coming up. I met this gentleman in a parking lot, and I was going to get a haircut, and he came up to me, introduced himself, very personable, so we definitely appreciate your time, man. I know you've been on the campaign trail.
Look, this ain't the last time. You can come back on, man.
Yeah.
You come back on. We can.
I'd love to come. Man. I like the show.
When the election get closer, you can come back on so you can remind folks, say, hey.
Yeah.
Because November
you have me on, I'm here.
Right.
Okay, for sure, brother. We'll reach back out to you, man.
We
say your socials again too. Like let them know your socials again. So before.
Yes, again, it's Curt Collier ATL.com on all the platforms, Instagram, Facebook, same thing, CurtCollier. And more than anything, when you see my stuff on Instagram, any social media, best thing you can do is share it. Leave a comment. That gets the word out. And feel free to drop a donation. I'm not asking for anything big. I know what times are. So I say, hey, $11 for District 11. Every little bit adds up. Tell your friends, and we can make a difference together.
That's what's up, man.
That's what's up. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, brother, man.
All right, Curt. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
And real